Hey, my name is Ryan Earnhardt from CreativeSoundLab.tv, where audio recording is an art form. Well, today we're going to be talking about making vocals in your face. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I did an episode, and it just posed the question, should EQ come before or after compression? And kind of a lot of people said, well, you know, if you're going to be cutting frequencies, like low frequencies, I'd put it before, but if you're going to be boosting frequencies, you'd put it after the compression. So that way, any boost that you do on the EQ, they don't get adjusted by that compression. But any cuts that you do before the compression, well, that'll just clean it up. And I think that makes a lot of sense. And it really ties in of what this episode is about, is helping things to be very in your face. It can work for vocal and many other things as well. Let's check out these examples. I have the main vocal track going through an EQ unit, EQ PWA, going into the WA two-way. Now what we're going to do is, this is just the dry vocal. I'll let you hear it in just a moment. We'll try just treating the low end of this vocal in a couple of different ways. And at some point we'll flip this around so we can really see the finessing of the back controls. So let's check out the dry vocal here.
Me, little boy, you strayed so far from home, 'cause I will always remember you. It's beautiful, yeah, it's beautiful.
Okay, now we'll add some compression.
And will you always remember me?
Add some makeup gain.
In light of the way this all turned out, 'cause I will always remember you. A sunlight, yeah, a sunlight.
Okay, now we're going to go ahead and treat the low end a little bit here. What we're going to do first is go ahead and do a cut on the low end, and then, of course, add some compression to get about the same amount of compression going on here. We're looking for some, basically an increase in its ability to cut through a mix.
Me, in light of the way this all turned out, 'cause I will always remember you. A sunlight, yeah, a sunlight. And will you always remember me? Little boy, you strayed so far from home, 'cause I will always remember you. It's beautiful, yeah, it's beautiful.
Okay, so this is just the idea, is that we're trying to treat the low end here. Now what we're going to do is something a little bit different. This was treating the entire vocal sound, so the entire vocal was thinner. Therefore, the compression is going to act a little bit differently. We're going to get less compression because there's less low end going into the compressor, so we have to add more of it to get the same amount of compression. Now we're going to flip the unit around and use the preemphasis control. The preemphasis is going to basically ignore some of the low end, and it almost sounds like it kind of lets it pass through while compressing other parts, the mid-range, the high end of the signal. So let's check that out.
'Cause I will always remember you. A sunlight, yeah, a sunlight. And will you always remember me? In light of the way this all turned out, 'cause I will always remember you. A sunlight, yeah, a sunlight. And will you always remember me? Little boy, you strayed so far from home.
Okay, now what we're going to do is compare these examples back to back very quickly so you can immediately hear the difference in how the signal sounds.
'Cause I will always remember you. A sunlight, yeah, a sunlight. 'Cause I will always remember you. A sunlight, yeah, a sunlight. 'Cause I will always remember you. It's beautiful, yeah, it's beautiful. 'Cause I will always remember you. A sunlight, yeah, a sunlight. 'Cause I will always remember you. A sunlight, yeah, a sunlight. 'Cause I will always remember you. It's beautiful, yeah, it's beautiful.
Okay, so I think there's a few different concepts at play here, but the biggest one is that low frequencies can really weigh down a compressor. And intuitively, you start to develop this sense of when to put EQ before the compressor and when to use it after, or probably a little bit of both. If you want something to cut through a mix, you can be very careful of the frequencies going into the compressor so that the compressor can, the way that I think of it, is evenly treat the whole signal, the lows, mids, and high frequencies. If you have too much of the lows, then all of a sudden it sounds like the whole vocal got quieter. Just like removing the low end from a bass guitar, you could make it actually punch harder in the mix. Whereas if the bass guitar was super boomy and lows, well, it really couldn't be brought up that loud at all. In fact, you may not be able to hear it that well. This also reminds me of a Dave Pensato episode where he talks about the mid frequencies being more sensitive to your ears, and if you want to make something seem louder, then you can basically thin out some of the lows or boost very, very gentle mid frequency boosts and make something seem a little louder. It has to do with the Fletcher-Munson effect, where our ear is most sensitive to 3 to 4K, and to make something seem louder without actually being louder, we can adjust and boost very, very gently in that range that our ears are most sensitive to. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. It's a complicated concept. It's really simple. It's really kind of advanced at the same time. Ultimately, you'll start to develop an intuition on this, on how it should work, how it should sound, and when something isn't working in a mix, you'll know what to do. I'd love to hear your comments. I'll be hanging out below.